Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I want to talk about paradigm and shifting paradigms and what that is. What is paradigm? A paradigm refers to a set of beliefs, assumptions, values, practices, and methodologies that shapes the way individuals perceives and interprets reality within a particular field or discipline. It provides a framework that guides how people approach problems, generate solutions, and establish norms. Paradigms can be found in various domains such as science, philosophy, sociology, and business. The business is something I'll be talking about in this video. The way how I'm shaping my own beliefs when it comes to business and perhaps overall attitudes when it comes to money and making money. Where before I was thinking how then perhaps in my early 20s how money works and how I did understand value when it comes to perhaps a very basic understanding when it comes to exchanging my time for money and my beliefs from my circle was perhaps attitudes and understanding that that's the way how things do work. But over years, I did understand that it works differently, and I did understand a lot of things when it comes to money, and that I would say the concept of paradigm, that one of the best ways to describe it, how you can potentially offer value, not necessarily exchanging your time for money, but you could potentially have a product or services when it comes to business, or perhaps different vehicles that you can use to actually offer value, not necessarily just your time. Perhaps that's a good starting block, but not necessarily everyone should get stuck within that block. They could perhaps grow from there. That's overall message within this video that I like to share with everyone. Perhaps that's a good place to start. But as you go or grow older, you should at least perhaps try different approaches when it comes to creating value for yourself and others and how to approach that. And you need to perhaps your own beliefs you need to build on what you have and have better understanding from there and grow from there. And over years, you would start understanding if you would be open to new ideas of different paradigms and how you can potentially create value and be compensated for that in return. Shifting paradigms refers to a significant and fundamental changes in your underlying assumption and perspectives that guides a particular field, discipline, or way of thinking that involves transformation of the way people view the world, solve problems, and make decisions. Shifting paradigms can occur due to new discoveries, technological advances, and changes in social values or critical insights that challenges the existing normal framework that me and you have. Thomas Kuch, a philosopher of science, introduced the concept of paradigm shifts in his book, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. Published in 1962, he argues that scientific progress often involves periods of normal science where researchers work within an established paradigm, and then occasional revolutions where new theories emerge that challenges the eventually replaced the old paradigm. Overall shifts paradigms represents a significant departure from the status quo, often leading to a revolution of long held beliefs and practices, and potentially opening up new ways of understanding and approaching various aspects of life and knowledge. There are two good examples that I believe can sum up what the book. I haven't read the book yet, but I'm looking forward to reading that. But when only that I'm gonna have time to do that. There were two examples. One was that if I was perhaps 20 years old, I was sitting in a vehicle at the time that was working for me with my own understanding and my own beliefs and overall structure of who else was in the vehicle, and more my values, beliefs, and understanding was within that particular vehicle, that I had to step out and step in a new vehicle. My own understanding had to change as I grew as a person. And from perhaps a person who had a 9 to 5 job, I had to shift that, my own understanding, perhaps taking more responsibilities, having my attitudes, my understanding, where how I perceive time value had to change. That otherwise I would be stuck with that particular vehicle. That's one way to look at it. Other example would be perhaps that we all having a bucket would we have just enough room within the bucket, and there's a river of information uh, that we can only have that particular amount of information depending on perhaps what we currently focus on. So yeah, the same river can work different ways depending on what kind of problems we have at the time. If that makes sense, perhaps that's slightly overreach if better explaining this concept of having a bucket and approaching a river with that particular set of problems. We need to have perhaps bigger problems and go to the same river and approach that would perhaps offer us in terms of business more value the bigger problems we would have. For everyone who is interested in perhaps making most of your time, optimizing your time, how you making most of your day and overall your week, your month, overall your routines, structures, more habits, how to approach that, how to build those habits. Just a brief summary, I guess, of overall value that you can receive within the book on today's topic, and some of the key areas that everyone should at least focus on, know of, and have those small routines and making most of your time. I think it's very good tool to have for everyone to at least consider this kind of tool that you can find on my company's website. Feel free to reach out to me if you're interested in receiving a signed copy of this book. First 100 person who will reach out to me, I'll send the signed copy. Thank you. Uh, I just remember another example. I think it's one of those seminars that I recently have watched. They were within that seminar, they were using example as a lens. It's something that perhaps the way how a lot of people seeing the world based on their own values, understanding, beliefs, assumptions. That's a particular paradigm that that particular person has, and perhaps that particular lens over time, ideally, perhaps should progress and change. But if that's something that that person is looking for and looking to improve some perhaps of the problems that he has, looking for bigger problems, solving bigger problems for larger groups of people. That would be one way to look at that particular lens, comparing to perhaps stay-at-home mom, which would be looking after perhaps to her kids. That's different lens that as you can imagine. So yeah, so that particular lens and perhaps that particular paradigm, and that someone as a business owner or a business woman, perhaps that woman's perspective when it comes to her particular paradigm would be completely different compared to others person. Well, ideally, everyone has at least glimpse or a slight little bit of understanding when it comes to that, and perhaps That's one way to approach it. And what I'm trying to convey with this video is that those paradigms are constantly changing to most people, and attitudes, values, understanding is constantly moving thing, and hopefully it's moving for the best. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Thank you.